major celebration. And at least wherever there are deities, wherever there's a temple who's connected in Guru Parampara, we should also give proper time. When we celebrate, especially the appearance and disappearance of such great personalities, we should endeavor to do it as nicely as possible. And especially what is most important, we should try to remember the significance of their appearance or disappearance and how that can help us in our practice of Krishna consciousness, how that is meant to inspire us in pushing on the similar, if not same activities, which means to propagate ultimately the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are many things, of course, to be said in regards to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. I wanted to focus on one aspect, which is a very important letter that was written to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Some of you might have read it or heard about it. It starts with, O Saraswati. It is written by Srila Bhakti Thakur, anticipating that in the not too distant future he will no longer be physically present, Srila Bhakti Thakur, and therefore he gave some specific instructions. All of us as devotees, we should be eager to hear and to know what are the instructions that are coming down in Guru Parampara. Our founder Acharya for ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada, he gave many specific instructions. Practically all the Acharyas, they give both general and then specific instructions. Both we should try to understand and we should endeavor to implement. So this is a relatively short letter that I will be reading and sharing. And you'll understand its importance. Just to put things a little bit in context, in the early days when Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was endeavoring to revive the mission and the movement of Lord Chaitanya, there was a tremendous amount of resistance, opposition that was coming, well, similar to the time of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya also, although he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is introducing the Yuga Dharma, the opposition didn't come from other communities, but came from within. Came from the Brahmanas, caste Brahmanas. So in a similar way, actually, when Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was working hard to revive and to reestablish the pure original intent and mission of Lord Chaitanya, there was tremendous, we read about it actually, we've not seen it in our times, but there was tremendous pressure, opposition from so many different groups who had, to a large extent, actually deviated from the original teachings. And in many ways they had become like apasampradayas. They were not actually following. Externally, they were having the same dress and chanting the same mantras, but actually there were major deviations. So this letter begins actually with reference to that. I just wanted to put this a little bit in perspective. And therefore, we know that in his childhood and as a young boy and as a young man, even before being initiated by Srila Gorky Sodas Baji Maharaj, Bimal Prasad, his name, family name, he was like the personal secretary of his father. Quite a unique and special role, and to get the association of such an exalted personality. So he could, because when you spend some time with somebody, when you hear, then you begin to understand, the mood and the mentality. So, although Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had a number of sons, and one other son in particular who also was very much dedicated to the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, but there were some philosophical differences that were there. We were touching on that this morning or yesterday. So without going into that, the instructions given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, naturally Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur took them to heart. And history is showing how he, by his so many activities, systematically began to introduce that mission of Lord Chaitanya in a very unique and particular way. And some of that mission is still, we could say, unfolding today, because what our acharyas are endeavoring to do, the teachings they are giving us, deal with bringing about major changes in our personal, individual lives, as well as bringing changes within society. So I will read this letter, and as I read the letter, we can stop a little bit and try to understand the instructions that are being given, and try and see how they relate to our personal lives. What is it, sister? Yes. So I don't actually have the date. It'd be interesting to have the date actually when this letter was written. But it begins with "O Saraswati," because that is one of the names of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So you have to. It's not a long letter, so you have to listen carefully to try and imbibe the message, the spirit of the message in particular. First paragraph. People of this world. Has anyone read this letter before? Heard this letter? Maybe sometime back. Okay. Yes. Right. Not so many actually. People of this world who are proud of their aristocratic birth attack the pure Vaishnavas. That was happening. I was just mentioning. Because especially Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in the spirit of Lord Chaitanya, was allowing and encouraging people who maybe are not born in Brahmana families to also take up the spiritual life and to also become Brahmanas or to develop the qualities of Brahmanas. So people of this world who are proud of their aristocratic birth, means born in a Brahmana family, attack the pure Vaishnava. Thus they commit offenses. The solution to the problem is to establish the order of Daiva Varnashrama Dharma, something you started doing. You should know that to be the real service to the Vaishnava. This is quite clear. It's there are various references that our founder Acharya makes in speaking about the need and the importance to revive or to establish specifically Daiva Varnashrama. That's a whole topic in itself. We will not go into the details, but I'm just pointing out that this is part, it just happens to be in the very beginning part of this letter. Second paragraph. Because pure devotional conclusions are not being preached, all kinds of superstition and bad concepts are being called devotion by such pseudo-sampradayas as Sahajya and Ativadi. And there are many other varieties of what we call apasampradayas. And I would connect, this is the second paragraph, shorter than the first one. Hare Krishna. Someone is being admitted to Gurukul. Okay. Yes. Hare Krishna. Yes. Dandabat. Yes. We can easily connect this second paragraph actually to the first one. Means pure devotional conclusions. This is what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining. Because pure devotional conclusions are not being preached, all kinds of bad concepts. Hey. Sit with the boys. Yeah. But this way. Yeah. Back, not too sometime. Especially this morning, we're committing double offense. Which is a very major theme, major topic. When we don't have the pure and full understanding of what our acharyas are explaining, or when we don't have the full and pure understanding of what Shastra is telling, then naturally there will be some, as mentioned here, bad concepts, bad practices will be introduced. And that was the case. during the time of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which he had to correct. Third paragraph. Please always crush these anti-devotional concepts by preaching pure devotional conclusion and by setting an example. So that also could be elaborated upon. Setting example is something very essential, not only individually, but as a society or as groups. In other words, we can connect this with the whole ideology of Jnanam and Vijnanam, isn't it? We are receiving knowledge from Bhagavad Gita. We are receiving knowledge from Srimad Bhagavatam. How well we understand that knowledge will be shown by how early we get up in the morning. Isn't it? By practical application. If we don't chant the holy name, if we don't attend Mangalarti, then we may know so many things about Shastra, we may be able to quote so many nice verses from Bhagavad Gita, but we're not practicing. You know? So one of the foremost instructions given by Srila Prabhupada is that to revive Vedic culture, we have to show it by example. We have to live it. And the Vedic, what is the Vedic culture, especially promoting? What is a Vedic lifestyle that is at the foundation of the Vedic culture? Yes. What's the main activity in Vrindavan? You know Vrindavan? He knows English? What happens in Vrindavan?
वृंदावन में क्या क्या होता है महाराज? कृष्ण बलराम क्या करते हैं?
लीला वगैरह तो कर रहे हैं।
कौन सी लीला? सुबह सुबह क्या करते हैं?
Every single day, what they do? Krishna Balaram.
क्या करते हैं?
Yes.
सुबह क्या करते हैं?
Sleep under trees somewhere. Nothing to do.
गाय को लेके जाते हैं ना?
Krishna and Balaram, if cows are not in Vrindavan, Krishna and Balaram would also not be in Vrindavan. Yeah.
Maharaj, in fact, I heard one Leela where how Yashoda Maya wakes up Krishna. She presses lotus feet, she offers him sweets and all that. When Krishna does not wake up for all these lalaj,
yes.
She says that Balram has already ran away with the cows today.
Oh.
Then Krishna suddenly gets up. Now Yashoda Maya says, you are not going to sleep now. Immediately you wash face. So that's how she gives lalaj. For him, cows was very important.
Cows wakes him up.
Yeah, and also he does not wear footwear for.
Yeah, that's a whole. Yes. So by setting example means all of us individually, we have to show by example. That is our daily challenge. I mean, every day we have to not simply to show, but we have to demonstrate our understanding of Shastra, our understanding of what is Dharma, by following, by chanting, by attending temple program, by preaching. So many activities are there. Yeah. So some other important instructions here. Yes, given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Please try very hard to make sure that the service to Sri Mayapur will become a permanent thing. The real service to Sri Mayapur can be done by acquiring printing presses, not only one, but many, by distributing devotional books and Sankirtan, means preaching. Please do not neglect to serve Sri Mayapur or to preach for the sake of your own reclusive bhajan. It's telling, don't, in the name of bhajan, avoid these activities of printing books and of preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then another paragraph, when I am not present anymore, please take care to serve Sri Mayapur Dham, which is so dear to you. This is my special instruction to you. And just a few more. I had a special desire to preach the significance of such books as Srimad Bhagavatam, Sat Sandarbha, and Vedanta Darshana. You have to accept that responsibility. Yes. Of course, our founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada, especially picked up on the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam by translating in English. And two last lines that are there. Sri Mayapur will prosper if you will establish an educational institution there. This is what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur did, of course, by establishing, it is still there, Bhaktivinoda school. So our acharyas, Prabhupada spoke about establishing one day one university in Mayapur University. And we also know, Prabhupada spoke about establishing Varnashram College. Not only here in Mayapur, but wherever we have center, temple. So that our devotees can systematically learn and understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. And the last instruction, never make any effort to collect knowledge or money for your own enjoyment. Only to serve the Lord will you collect these things. I'm sure that Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur gave many other important instructions to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Especially he gave him that understanding that the knowledge and the mission of Lord Chaitanya is meant to be introduced widely all over the world, and that it is meant for everyone. So, Srila Prabhupada actually did not meet his Guru Maharaj many times. I heard only about 5 or 6 times, less than 10 times, for brief encounters. But he was able to pick up the mood and mentality. And of course, specifically, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in the first meeting, as we know, had given a specific instruction to preach in the English-speaking world, because you're an educated young man, you know English. And that was further reiterated a few months, if not a few weeks before Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati left in a letter, in a response to a letter that Prabhupada had written. How can I engage in your seva? And he had basically received the same instruction as earlier, preach the message. So we were discussing on this point also. Our movement is a preaching movement. Our movement is an educational movement. Our movement is a cultural movement. Our movement is a social movement. And of course, naturally, our movement is a spiritual movement. All combined. All combined. And it is for all of us as individuals to deeply meditate on the meaning and significance of the various instructions given by these are three very exalted personalities: Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and our own founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada. So, Srila Prabhupada used to say how I will not be present for a very long time, but you should know that my Guru Maharaj is always there, and the grandfather is always more caring, more merciful. So, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, actually, we don't study many of his books because his books are not easy to understand. Even his English books are not easy to understand. His English was like, yeah. But he lived by personal example and showed by very extensively preaching the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Prabhupada, being born in a Vaishnava family, had one time Prabhupada was telling that I especially had picked up from my Guru Maharaj this idea about printing books. If you ever get money, print books, distribute this knowledge of Krishna consciousness. So this distribution of Krishna consciousness, especially ultimately is meant to be taken up through education. That's why educational, as mentioned in that letter by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Mayapur was an educational center 500 years ago during the time of Lord Chaitanya, and it needs to become again a prominent educational center. And that is possible if we hear nicely and understand the good instructions given by all of these exalted personalities. Yeah. It is often just like when we have Vyasa Puja ceremony, we also, for our founder Acharya, we invite devotees if they are so inclined to share any thoughts or realization in connection with, in this case, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Rameshwar Prabhu is here? He lived there. Okay. Anyone would like to share something? Yes? Speak loudly.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. You have told that we have to attend Mangalarti and do our sadhana as prescribed by Srila Prabhupada. But in due course of practice, we may lost. Means practice we may lost. How do we reconstruct and
If one attends Mangalarti, he will not lose.
yeah,
There are less chances of losing. If one does not attend Mangalarti, then it is more obvious that one will not, unless we receive mercy, we will lose. Yes, the tendency, because in Kali Yuga, not in Kali Yuga, in the material world, in the material world, especially in Kali Yuga, the tendency is to forget. Maya means forgetfulness of Krishna.
yes.
And we've seen how this happened, like soon after the departure of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Such great exalted personalities were there, but somehow, so that can happen. If it happened then, it could happen now also. It can happen anytime. In order for that not to happen, in order to prevent that the mission again go astray, then that means we have to be we have to take utmost care and attention to properly meditate upon and understand what directives were given, especially by the founder Acharya of our society, because we are all members of that society. So therefore, when Prabhupada says that there's 50% of my mission yet to be fulfilled, we need to understand why he gave that instruction and what is that 50%. We can't just leave it dangling there indefinitely for the next 10,000 years. So we need to remind ourselves, and we need to remind others also, hey, there's something yet to be done. So the responsibility lies upon each and every individual, all of us individually, to be as conscious as possible, as serious as possible in applying the principles of devotional service and in understanding what our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada has left us, his legacy. His legacy are in his books and various instructions he has given. And it's Kali Yuga. We're living in the world of Maya, material world. So Maya will try in so many ways to prevent that from happening. So therefore, unless we are very cautious and attentive in what we are meant to do, then Maya may come out successful, which we don't want that to happen. So,
Maharaj, in one sense, if you see, it was Bhakti Siddhant Maharaj only who introduced this sannyas.
Oh.
So it is part of Varnashram.
Yes, yes,
Ashram, one of the ashram.
yes, yes. That was.
Genu also got introduced during the Siddhanta Saraswati first.
Hmm?
During Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati time only, the Genu got introduced.
Yes.
Before that, becoming a Vaishnava means taking away the Genu.
Yeah, there were a number of things that were somehow one would have to undertake a very thorough, very thorough research of how things evolved, but sannyas ashram has always been there because it's part of the varnashrama system. Yeah. Yes.
I observed that an instruction in the Shastras or from the Guru Vani comes, and of course everybody has their process, their way of taking that, okay, which is right and which is wrong, and also in the due course of implementation also we tend to lose track. So how do we keep in check with the parampara or the Guru's thought as it is? How do we take it, and also how do we implement it?
Shastra is instructing that we always need, this is the check and balance of these three, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, isn't it? So we have to be attentive in looking, analyzing, understanding whether whatever it is we are practicing is in keeping with Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So that needs to be done. The responsibility lies within each and every one of us as individuals who are inheriting, who are part of this parampara. And it lies also within the society that was established by Srila Prabhupada. So this is to the extent that we are so maybe 5 minutes, yeah. To the extent that we are more attentive, more serious in our own individual practices, to the extent we are serious in seeing that the teachings of the parampara are not lost, that there are no major deviations to that extent. We will, in our individual ways, endeavor to keep things in proper position, in proper parampara.
And also one more question with regarding to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. Maharaj, I heard that he was not he was not instructed personally to go to Calcutta and preach by his guru. So, but still he made an endeavor after some time to go to Calcutta. Can you shed some light on it?
Yeah, there's some kind of leela is there. His Guru Maharaj considered that Calcutta was too fallen a place. Don't go there, you'll become polluted. As we know, he had taken a vow of chanting so many rounds. What is it? 1 million? How many million rounds?
10 crores,
9 years.
10 crores.
10 crore. Anyways, a huge number. So I heard that after spending so many years, and it was revealed to him that, okay, now it's time to actually, you're ready to start preaching. And for him, preaching meant to go to Calcutta, where, like Srila Prabhupada, went to New York. Calcutta is the New York of India. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, normally we must follow the instruction of our spiritual master. And there is some kind of lila that is there, where although that was told to him by Srila Gorkishore Das Bhakti Maharaj, he took that decision to actually go. I've not read so much details about how that exactly occurred or happened. Anyone else would like to mention something? Yes.
Maharaj, it is said that without Banashram,
Yes.
Sajiaism becomes prominent.
Yes.
So I was trying to understand the connection. That Prabhupada also mentioned that Sajia chanting will be going on.
Yes.
So what is this Sajia chanting, and how without Banashram the community will go toward Sajiaism, and what is the present situation within ISKCON society? Because practically we are seeing that almost it's not there. Banashram is not there.
Yes.
So are devotees getting Sajias?
Are devotees?
Are devotees becoming Sajias in our society currently?
Good question to ask. That's okay. In this letter we are reading from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he makes reference to when we don't properly follow, then some bad concepts, will filter in, will manifest. So Sahajism in itself is, as we know, a deviation, and we can connect this with the statement that I believe Prabhupada mentions was stated by his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Thakur. I think most of us have heard this, how religion without philosophy tends to be simply sentimentalism, which eventually comes out as fanaticism. And that philosophy without religion ends up being mental speculation. So these two are necessary. Religion actually means proper understanding of dharma, isn't it? So religion, we could say, is especially like theology in terms of the nature and the qualities and the duties of the spirit soul, which is, of course, within the process of bhakti, devotional service. At the same time, philosophy, that's why when in the context of Vedic culture, in the context of Vedic education, this is nicely explained in the Kautilya Arthashastra, that Vedic culture begins with the proper understanding of philosophy, Anvikshiki, the science of philosophy. It is the first of 4 Vedic sciences, Chaturvidya. When there is something lacking. When that knowledge is not perfectly understood, then there will be deviations in the other three sciences, which are connected with education, right? That is the second science of education. And we can see within general society as well as within our ISKCON society, we are lacking. We are lacking proper understanding of what is Vedic education. That's a whole big topic. We are lacking proper understanding of what is formal Vedic education. We are lacking, especially more so, what is Vedic non-formal education. What is Vedic non-formal education? That is shown especially in the pastimes of Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan. Non-formal education for the large percentage of young boys is to be with the calves, is to be connected with cows and the land, actually. Vast majority of individuals, young boys in particular, in the Vedic culture, is not to be sitting in a classroom. That is formal education. Formal education is for brahmanas and to some extent kshatriyas. So when, in other words, this is explained in the first, in Andikshiki, the science of philosophy. When that science is not properly followed or understood, then that's the point I'm making. There will be flaws in proper understanding and application of the other three sciences. So the second science, science of education, Trayi. Third science is called Dandaniti. Dandaniti means the science of governance. And the whole world is not knowing about this science because there are basic principles and concepts that can only be taught like in a Gurukul setting, in formal education. To become a qualified prince and eventually a king, one has to study for many years. So without this training, education, then flaws are there. And in the context of our own society, ISKCON society, because we are missing out on the varnashram aspect, so there are flaws there also. And the third one is even more blatant or obvious. That is called Varta, the science of economics. The whole world is promoting economy, economic development. Big signboards everywhere, economic development. But no one understands what is economic development in the secular world. And unfortunately, within our ISKCON society, we also are not understanding. Because according to Bhagavad Gita and other Shastra, the formula and the science of economy is to be found in Krishi Goraksha Vanijam. Krishi Goraksha Vanijam, Vaisya Karma Swabhavajam. And those who are kings, those who are rulers in the Vedic culture, they understand that very well. And therefore they give the maximum support to those who are meant to look after cows and agriculture. So in other words, the first of the four Vedic sciences, if not properly studied and understood, will have an effect on the other three. The other three are not being taught in general society, and they're not being taught within our ISKCON society. And that is why Prabhupada wanted that we introduce Varnashram College to teach these Vedic sciences, isn't it? Vedic knowledge is perfect knowledge. So it's not that because now we're in the 20th, 21st century, that, well, things are different now and we don't need these sciences. No. Things are different now because we're not following dharma. Things have become adharmic. And therefore we have a false economy. We have major deviation in terms of agriculture. We have major deviations in terms of leadership, in terms of understanding the foundational principles and concepts of leadership. We have major deviations in terms of education. So how can we expect to revive and to reestablish Vedic culture if we are deficient in basically the four pillars of what Vedic culture promotes? Vedic culture is based on these four unchanging sciences that we are not, that the world doesn't know about. We know something about it, but we're not properly teaching that. Yeah. So therefore, until and unless we accept this particular instruction given by our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada to establish Varnashram colleges, we will be in the dark in that respect, and therefore we will not be able to properly fulfill the desires of our acharyas, of all of our acharyas, especially our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. It's a big topic, but it's something, we can discuss possibly later. So we will now close our session this morning by offering Pushpanjali to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and then there will be Arati. Right? So we have flowers. So we can close for now. Jai Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada ki. Jai Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Avirbhav Titi Mahamahotsav ki. Jai Nitai Gaur Pinandi. Hare Krishna.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Sri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhur Jajwala Premadhya Sri Rupanuga Bhaktida Sri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Sri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddhapa Siddhanta Dhvanta Harine Namo Gauraki Shoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambha Rasambodhe Padam Bhujaya Te Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachit Ananda Namine Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Avirbhava Bhumeshtvam Nirdhishta Sajjana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Sri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Dhyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tvise Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Suratau Bhangor Mama Mandha Matergati Matsarvasva Padam Bhojau Radha Madana Mohanau Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpa Drumadha Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanastau Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanastau Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devau Pristhalibi Sevyamanau Smarami Sriman Rasa Rasarambhi Vamshivata Tatastitaha Karshan Venu
Darshan Venu
Sonayar Gopir
Anay Gopi
Gopinatha
Gopinatha
Sriyestunaha
Sriyestunaha
Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi
Taptakanchana Gaurangi
Radhe Vrindavaneshwari
Radhe Vrindavaneshwari
Vrishabhanu Suti Devi
Vrishabhanu Sute Devi
Pranamami Hari Priye
Pranamami Hari Priye
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Prabhu Nityananda
Sri Advaita
Sri
Gadadhara
Advaita Gadadha
Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Saraswati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya
Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale
Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale
Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta
Srimati Bhakti Siddhanta
Saraswati iti namine
Saraswati iti namine
Esha Pushpanjali.
Esha Pushpanjali.
Everyone can approach a little bit. Jai Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
One flower everyone can go, can throw.
Good blessings, man.
Well, after offering one flower, everyone can offer obeisances. We'll do this 3 times. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti namine Esha Pushpanjali. Jai Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Offering flower, obeisances. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati iti namine Esha Pushpanjali. Jai Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Then after you can blow the conch shell. Yeah. Namaste. Who is doing? Okay. Jai Sri Gaurita ki, Jai Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi ki, Jai Sri Krishna Balaram ki, Jai. Namo Vishnupada, Saprista, Vishmati Bhaktivedanta. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Bando Muve Sabadana Mate Bando Muve Sabadana Bando Muve Sabadana Mate Sade bhai e bhavatoriya Sade bhai e bhavatoriya Krishna Prapti Haya Hote Krishna Prapti Haya Hote Guru Mukha Padmavakya Chitete Koriya Akya Guru Mukha Padmavakya Chitete Koriya Akya Arana Koriya Mane Asa Arana Koriya Mane Arana Koriya Mane Asa Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Shri Guru Charane Rati Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama prasade purisaga masa. Siddhant diloje danne danne Prabhu se. Siddhant diloje danne danne Prabhu se. Jnana hriday prakashito. Jnana hriday prakashito. Prema bhakti aharte avidya vinasayate. Prema bhakti aharte avidya vinasayate. Virigaya harasarita. Virigaya harasarita. Sri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adamadana Bandhu. Sri Guru Karuna Sindhu. Sri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adamadana Bandhu. Lokena Lokena Jivana. Lokena Lokena Jivana. Lokena Lokena Jivana. Lokena Prabhu Karadaya de amore parasaya. Mahaprabhu Karadaya de amore parasaya. Evija Dukti Bhuvana. Evija Dukti Bhuvana. Prabhupada Katika Pavana. Prabhupada Katika Pavana. Mahaprabhu Karadaya de amore parasaya. Mahaprabhu Karadaya de amore parasaya. Evija Dukti Bhuvana. Evija Dukti Bhuvana. Evija Dukti Bhuvana. Evija Dukti Bhuvana. Prabhupada Katika Pavana. Prabhupada Katika Pavana. Prabhupada Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pasyatya Dishatarine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pasyatya Dishatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Privrajagacharya Stotra Satta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Sirabai Charan Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Skandiviti Founder Acharya's Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Sri Vrindavan Mathura Dhama Ki Sri Dwarka Dhama Ki Sri Jagannath Puri Dhama Ki Sri Navadip Mayapur Dhama Ki Sri Mayapur Chandradev Mandir Ki Gangamayi Jumanamayi Ki Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai Sri Gunita Ki Jai Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki Jai Sri Krishna Balarama Ki Jai Sri Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Sri Radha Madhava Ki Jai Srila Bhakti siddhant Saraswati Avirbhav Titi Mahamahotsav Ki Jai Srila Bhakti siddhant Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Avirbhav Titi Mahamahotsav Ki Jai Srila Bhakti siddhant Saraswati Thakur Avirbhav Titi Mahamahotsav Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Pimanande All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlada Lada Dayine Prahlada Lada Dayine Prahlada Lada Dayine Prahlada Lada Dayine Hiranyakashipu Bhaksaha Ito nisringha parato nisringha Yato yato yamitato nisringha Bahir nisringha hridaye nisringha Rasimhamadim saranam prapadye Tavakara kamala varinakam Marbuta sringam Dalita hiranyakasipu Dhanobhina Kesavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Avakara Kamala Varenaka Madhuta Singam Dalita Hiranyakasipu Dhanobhina Kesavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Kesavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Kesavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Lakshmi Narahari Lakshmi Narahari Narahari Lakshmi Narahari Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jai Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki, Jai Sri Bhagavan ki, Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi. You put bhajan and also those